We're going to talk about the 8,000-pound shark in the room, the Megalodon, as I was calling it earlier. That is Shove Shark. Le Shovell, who has been the talk of the town since not just its release, but its nerf, and probably from now until the sun goes out. I don't know. A really long time. A long time. We're going to talk about Shove Shark and why it's okay that this thing is just immensely format defining, or is it warping? And that's the big question. So before we get into it, I of course have to let everybody know that I am part of the content affiliate program. That means that the Phobies team does give me coffee for producing Phobies content, such as this. And these are going to be my open opinions about it. I'm going to crap on Shovell. I'm going to sing its praises a little bit. And we're doing this live on the Twitch stream. You can find the link for that down in the description by the like and subscribe button. Chat, feel free to chime in. So Shove Shark just got added not all that long ago in the 2-year anniversary update, and its partner in crime, Phantom, were immediately the talk of the town, and understandably so. I'd have to go back and see what my original comments were on it, but I can tell you what I was thinking, because I try not to... I don't want to overreact. To new things or anything like that, because it's like this, when I first saw this, I'm like, this seems insane. It seems like absolutely bonkers, especially in the original form. But I want to give it a chance. You know, like, it's everybody can be wrong, whether it's us or the devs, and the devs already made a correction to this, so there's that. The thing about this, like, let's start by talking about why this is so important. Aside from the obvious synergy with one-movers. Clearly, if you have a one-mover, they're slow. It's the slowest movement in the game is one. Otherwise, you're standing still. You get hit with Dozer or Rusty or whatever. Or Frozen, I guess. So you are incapable of keeping up with your team generally. And that definitely is a balancing aspect. So anytime you can now remove the penalty is a big deal, especially on Phobies that you are already using. So the Stabbies, the Bowmangles, the Attractors, the Innocuous, these sort of things were already incredibly powerful, and now they get a buff. Generally in games, strategy games like this, it's not good, or you want to avoid using things that are only useful to make something else useful, and then the overall, like the sum of the parts not being greater than the whole kind of thing. If you're spending extra stuff to make something that's mediocre passable, that's not good enough. You need to make something that's already good broken, or you need to push something that's pretty solid into, wow, that's powerful territory. Like, that's really good, even if it just falls just shy of broken. So Shove Shark here, which is the nickname I like to call it, does those things. As mentioned, the one-movers are already there, but the power level when you can do things, and this was just mentioned today in Discord, and I haven't had the opportunity to do this, but for a while, if you've had Hevo 3.0 or you've played against it, a lot of people will pair Gravedigger with Hevo 3.0. Why? Because you can essentially extend the range. You drop a statue, you hit the statue twice, and it splashes your opponent's team, some number of them, great. Except with Shove Shark, you can just push the Hevo into range. It's like a better Gravedigger in that scenario because, well, it's a side grade for Gravedigger, but it allows for a lot of other explosive plays. Again, you could just boop an Innocuous into range and then zap your opponent's team for a gazillion damage. Admittedly, one target as compared to the Hevo, but still. The plays, the ceiling for plays, I think is still undiscovered. The amount of things that you can do with Shove Shark is incredible. I don't think this is going to be news to anybody. It's not a revelation, or I certainly hope it's not. But if it is, congratulations. Welcome to the party. The thing that may sound a little strange is that Shove Shark has fundamentally changed the game of Phobies. It essentially has broken a lot of the unwritten rules that were there since the beginning of the game. Now, we've seen this in other instances, namely like when a tractor released. These are watershed moments. These are pivotal Phobies. These are times in the game's lifespan where you can mark it in the before and the after. And the fact of the matter is, after Shove Shark's release, the game has changed. There are way more things that are way more dangerous now. And a discussion that came up literally today in the main Discord is, this thing is broken. It needs to go. It needs to be changed. Does it? Now, don't get me wrong. If you feel that way, that's perfectly valid. If you loved Phobies the way it was before, that's fine. I loved Phobies the way it was before. If you loved it before and you don't love it now because Shove Shark came out, that's okay. That's completely valid, and you are well within your rights to feel that way. It's not even well within your rights. Like that's just fine. Like, you're allowed to have your opinion. You liked Game A. Phobies is now kind of becoming Game B. Is it that extreme? Kinda is. You could argue that it's not, but the thing is that what you can control is whether you continue to play Game B, if we're separating it that way. So, in this vein, the discussion that was taking place was, well, why did Shove Shark even come in? And one of the responses was, well, the devs intended it. Yes, obviously they intend every Phobie that releases, but this was intended to do this at this power level to the game. They knew that this was going to change things, and they wanted that. You can make ancillary arguments, and I've seen nothing from the devs. They wouldn't tell me directly. They would say it publicly, and they do, and they ask the devs channel and other channels all the time. That's where we know, because there was a quote posted by Karst, that they knew this was going to be at this power level. They know that it was going to come out. It was going to warp the game. We don't know if it was expressly released to try and address the quote-unquote stall meta, where games typically slow down, and then the players stare at each other, and then Shove Shark comes in, and suddenly the games accelerate. It certainly does that, but was it explicitly released to do that, or simply provide a cool new toy? They may overlap and do both things to some degree on one end or the other, but if the goal was, and again, we're hypothesizing here, we're just guessing, if the goal was just to release a cool, fun Phobie that lets you do awesome, splashy, spectacular plays, they've absolutely succeeded. They've absolutely succeeded, because there have been insane Shove Shark plays that have just blown up games out of nowhere. However, if you, to call back to the beginning, if you do not like the new world with Shove Shark, I'm not saying, well, go to hell. That's not what I'm saying. The answer is, that's okay. Not every game at all times is going to be for everyone. Hopefully, you'll come around, you'll enjoy the new Shove Shark meta. If you don't, then maybe when a new expansion comes in, it'll draw you back in for either Shove Shark falls out of favor somehow, or something else comes in that tickles your fancy, whatever the case may be. But I don't think that Shove Shark is problematic in that sense. I, too, share the concern that the new world is very, very dangerous, and I'm not sure that it is better than it was in the previous iteration. I can understand arguments as to why it is better. I don't know that I necessarily agree with them from a personal preference perspective. And the difference is, that's okay. We talked about maps a lot not too long ago here on the stream, and I don't like certain maps. Other people love them. There are maps that I like that other people can't stand, and I've been talking long enough that I actually bored the game client. I don't know what the future is going to hold for Phobies or how these things are going to play out, but I think it is important to look at this rationally. The devs, are always going to try and push the envelope, add fun new mechanics, because the goal of every game is to be fun. The goal is not to be balanced. A perfectly balanced game is likely to be a boring game. And that's a much larger discussion that I'm not going to get into now. I have on many occasions. Maybe I'll do another video for it. But the point is that a fun game is, by definition, a fun game. If you don't find the game fun any longer because of Shove Shark or because of other reasons, that's okay. It's okay to not enjoy something. It is also okay to change your mind on the same something or to revisit that something when something else changes. That's why I'm talking about future changes or just keeping your mind open to Shove Shark. So, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are, because I really do think that Shove Shark has created this demarcation point in the lifespan of Phobies. There's the before and there's the after. And we're just going to have to live with it. That's going to do it for this particular discussion. Like I said, let me know your thoughts. I'm curious how other people are feeling about it and whether they think this is too extreme or not. But that's going to do it. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.